to getting documents into PCC miscellaneous documents tab today, how are you guys going about that?
Um, we have contract with Canon, and we
Okay.
use their secure print um, solution. So we have it all, well, hence the name. It's all secure, and whoever needs to log in. So same thing with scanning. So you can do an email to scan, or just a traditional scan of documents. And then some of the communities, I believe, actually have a networked folder, I believe, that they can select to drop them into. Um, Generally, it's going to be a medical, HIM that's going to go into that folder, grab it, name it, log into PCC, add the file, put the standardized category, the category name, and drop it into the resident chart.
Yeah. And that's like 99%. Well, I mean, truthfully, it's 100%. That's how everybody does it before
Yep.
our app. That's the best way to do it. So, without this, it's not, I try to be nice about it. It's not horrible if you're doing one or two, but if you're trying to do a lot, it's a slow process, right? So
Yeah.
that's really where this app came from, is how do we speed that up? Because there's that, that desire to go fully electronic and get rid of that paper binder. But it's also a lot of work. And so what we would find is it just, a lot of documents wouldn't get in the chart just because of the time crunch and just how long it took. So that's where this app came from, and real high level. And then I'll go in and do a bunch of them. But real high level, the way it works is any device, any scanning device can be set up in it. And so we use SFTP to send documents back and forth to securely do it. If your devices natively support that, that's fantastic. Otherwise, just like you said, if they're scanning to a folder, there's multiple ways to get documents using the same secure protocol over to our server. And then from our server, because it's connected to point click care, all your admissions, all your categories, all that stuff's in it. You just say this document goes here, this document goes here, and you can just go through them really, really fast. Um, Scanners are one way we use it. It's a big part of the documents that come through our system. We also integrate with eFax. So if you guys are using an eFax company now, fantastic. We don't sell eFax numbers. We just want to make sure it's a HIPAA compliant one. Most likely, if it is, we already have an API connected to it. And then you can have your faxes either come into our system automatically, or you can send them out as well. There's no charge for that. It's just part of being in the system. And then lastly, you can just drag and drop them in here. So if you're scanning documents to a folder, you can just dump them in here real fast, and do it that way as well. So it's a web-based app. There's nothing to install outside of setting up your scanners. There's nothing to install. It works just the same as PCC. Lock down to your facility's IP addresses. It has two-form authentication if you want to use it. It will require it towards the end of the year, just like PCC. If you're using remote access, we will require two-form authentication, following that same lead that they're doing. And let's see, I'm going to jump in here real fast. Again, it is connected to PCC, so all your residents, everything we need, we get from Point Click here already. So let me get my code here, 835548. And this is what the app looks like. Now, the app is really meant to be a very fast pass-through from your scanner into PCC. And so what you do is I'll start with just the easiest ones. If I'm dragging and dropping documents, if I have a bunch of PDFs, like let's say on that network share, you want to try the thing without configuring your scanners. A lot of people start there, right? And you can just drag PDFs right here. And then they're going to run a virus scan, and then they're going to pop up here on my dashboard. If your scanners are set up, when they scan, they automatically show up in here. And then if you're using eFax, if I get an eFax, it comes right in here as well. So those are the three ways you do it. And basically what you do is you click the document here. I'm going to see the document right here. And then the four things I need to know, right? Effective date, what's my resident? Here's all my residents for PCC, last name, first name, D for discharge, A for active. If you're using waiting list, you have an N for new, like any pre-admission stuff. And then obviously the resident ID, you can incrementally filter, so I can search by anything in there, first name, last name, ID, whatever. These are my categories that are in PCC now under miscellaneous documents. So everything you put in there is going to be in here. I can just start typing, or I can scroll down if I want. And then this last thing is what you want that document to be named when it gets to point click care. So you'll see we take the category name. You can obviously change it, add to it, do whatever. And then all you do is hit one of these green buttons. This one's going to take me back to my homepage, which has my list of documents. This one would just open up my next document if I was just trying to go one at a time, boom, through that. When I hit that button, that document is on its way to PCC. It'll be in that chart within 60 seconds. So let me show you kind of, like real time what it looks like. I go in here, I'm going to find my resident. I'm going to go down, I'm going to find my category. I don't usually name it because it's already named. And then I hit upload. And that's all I have to do. I never have to go into PCC. I don't have to, do anything other than just what I did there.
So this folder that I'm looking at now, if we on our printers, is this, can we connect it to a network printer or a network folder so that if it's scanning, it's going straight to that folder that then this is looking for, or do we need to initiate it getting in here?
Yeah, you push it into here. So
Okay.
what a lot of people do is they'll just take that folder. They won't mess with their scanners. They're like, hey, that's a lot of work. Leave it the way it is.
Yeah.
And then they'll just run a script to push it over to us real fast. And that's what they do. It makes a pretty easy way to do it.
When you say run a script, maybe I didn't get that. So run a script from
So you have your file server where all your documents are. So you scan something that goes into a network share.
Yeah.
And then what we need to do is we need to get that into our file server. And so we use SFTP to lock that down to securely send it. So what some people do is, there's a million ways to do it with all the secure transports and all these things today and all the IDS and all that stuff. But at just a bare minimum, there's all kinds of scripts that you can write that use SFTP to just send all those documents over to us. And so a lot of times what people do is they'll just use a script, they'll write it. We can help you write it. It's super easy. This says anything in this folder on your end, push it over to ours. Anything over here, push it, and it just runs constantly.
Okay.
So the moment something goes in there, it shoots over to us.
Yeah. All right.
I always try and it's funny because that's the easiest way to do it, but everybody, because of the security and stuff, there's multiple ways to do it with all these new systems and stuff. But ideally, that's technically what they all do. So just I use that script deal. So that works really good if you're doing one document to one chart. Let me show you a couple of the tricks in here though. So if I need to send this document to, let's say I scanned it, it's this one here, let's see, 24 pages. Let's say a couple pages go to one resident, a couple go to another. It's kind of a mix, right? Maybe I scanned it that way. Maybe I have my eFax configured and the hospital sent me a bunch of stuff at one time. Maybe it's all the same resident, but different categories that I want to break out.
Right.
Typically, you got to break up that PDF, right? Pain in the butt. What you do now is you click the scissor tool. I'm going to zoom in. I click that scissor tool. Now I can take this one document, I can scroll through it, and I can go, okay, great. I'm going to pick my resident. I'm going to pick my category and say pages. Oops, this is testing. That's the name of it. 1 through 6 go there. Now, if it's a different resident, I can do that as well. If it's the same resident, I just pick whatever I want in there. 7 through 12 go here. I can scroll down a little bit, right? Yep. Pick a different one, and I can keep doing it. 13 through 24. And now I'm going to spend a second on this. Many ways you can use this. What I see really common is, especially when you get your fax, if you're using eFax, it'll be like the hospital sends over stuff. It's all for Karina Bailey, but it's different categories, right? Okay, so it's all the same resident. That happens a lot. So you could, whatever you put in here, the system's going to do. Whether it's one resident, different categories. I mean, you could do one resident, same category. It doesn't matter. Maybe you just want to break them apart because they're progress notes and you want them separated. Doesn't matter. Whatever you put in here, it's going to do. I can overlap pages. I don't have to use all of them. I can start on page 2 because page 1 was the cover page. Let's just say, that's that, but I want all of the pages to go to this other resident. You see how I overlap them here? Whatever I do, the system's going to build. I just hit split, takes that one PDF, breaks it into 3 pieces, and 3 documents will be in the chart within 60 seconds. So huge time saver when you're doing these, bigger scans or faxes, stuff like that. So kind of like normal, this is what it looks like. even with me explaining it, it's still pretty darn fast, but I like to go in and just show you what it looks like if you're just walking through and doing it yourself without me.
This is super
Uh,
easy. This is about as straightforward as you can get. So, yep.
it,
Okay.
that's our goal, right? So the whole goal of every app we write, and this is one of many, is our goal is to save you time to get you away from the computer back to caring for your residents. So everything is built around speed and not getting you to do more stuff. And so that's our whole goal. Exactly what you said is exactly what we're shooting for. Keep it
So,
simple.
yep, yep. Is this and then I'm assuming the APIs in the marketplace for the ADT information, primarily ADT. Well, it's got more than ADT, but
Yeah.
and then what for eFax, what are your most popular eFaxes that you're seeing in our small little industry?
Companies,
Yeah.
I mean, some of the bigger ones would be like Retaris, No2's a big one. Docomo's my favorite. I like that one a lot. And those are three. What was another? I mean, Ring Central. It really depends on your usage. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you, if you're doing small usage, if you got buildings doing less than 15 pages a day or something like that, you can find like a Docomo. I'll just use that as an example. You can get fax lines for $5 a month if they're low usage. If you want to get into the heavier ones, the unlimited ones, you might pay $20. But you might look at other vendors like Ring Central is very aggressive with their unlimited plan.
Gotcha.
And so those are a couple of them. I like them all. I like the bigger ones. I like the Retaris, the Docomo, and the Ring Central. Ring Central I use if it's unlimited. Other than that, I like the Docomo and Retaris. Those are the two
Oh,
big ones.
all right.
Um, what's neat about the eFax, I'll just say, is our system works with their API. So what I mean is, let's say you have a fax that you're using for admissions, right? Let's say referrals. You can have it come into our system and then also still go to your marketers so they get that lead right away, because you don't want to say, hey, you have to log in here to get that referral, because that's a time sensitive thing, right? So we just bolt on to however you're doing it now. It doesn't take all of that away. It just adds one more destination for your fax if you want it to. So it's really nice. Medical records as an example, maybe they still want it to go to their email because it goes to a distribution group and 10 people get it, and they're just going to have it go here for putting it in the chart. It'll do all of that still. So that's why we built it that way. Um,
So I'm just kind of, and maybe I'm just, so I'm thinking about the way that we get, and Teresa's going to tell me because she's actually been in that position before, but we do get some faxing, correct, Teresa? But then we get a lot of probably emails with like PDFs. Is that what we're seeing generally for like a referral, or just the
Yeah,
documents to get for a
it's
meeting?
it's a combination of both, depending on the hospital and the case manager. So instead of going into the referral system, they will fax it over.
yeah,
Okay.
it's so funny. Each one's different, and it is kind of a pain because you got to be ready for all of them, right? And depending on the different sources, if it's a referral company or it's an actual hospital, like they're so different. And so it's a it's an interesting deal. I know even with like the PCC Connect and all those things, it's still a ways out. So you're still like, I got to just accept that referral in any way you're going to send it to me today, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
we're actually starting to roll out our PCC Connect. So,
that is awesome. You're going to love that. If you have a lot of, if you have a lot of other hospitals that are participating, it's fantastic. It's really, really cool.
that's
Um,
that's always the trick, and it's hard within equality or yeah, I think it's equality, um, because it's hospital systems names like the parent company, so it's hard to say, is Littleton Hospital actually part of this? So but we're gonna rip the Band-Aid off, and then I guess we'll find out, because it's just too hard to find out if they actually are. And then a lot of times you'll call and then they won't even know if they're participants. So you
yeah.
don't even get a hold of at the hospital to it's like, oh, I didn't know we were members of that. Yeah, you sure are.
Well,
So
then you add on the layer, like, so my partner in this company, he owns a couple nursing homes here. We're in California, and the big chain here is Providence, and they change. It seems like every 6 months. They're like, "Oh, we're on this one now. Now we're over here now," and it's
yeah.
this. You're just going around. But I talked with PCC for a while about it, and they said it's probably going to be like this for a couple years, and then the standard will probably come into play. So I think that's why they're building theirs out and just saying, it's going to be rough seas for a little bit, but it
Yeah.
should come together eventually. And
Well,
I love it.
you just repeated exactly our scenario. We rolled it out at one of our rural Colorado steamboat communities, and they just have one hospital. It's the Jampa Valley Medical Center, and sure, they're listed. They're listed in and we turned it on, and we're like, why are we're not getting anything? And it's essentially UC Health. So I called their support line. We called the and
Goodness.
nobody knew anything about it, and they just and I could not even get it escalated up to anything. And then Teresa and I just happened to be on like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and suddenly at some point it just turned on. So now we're getting referrals. So
Oh, that's cool. At least it went that way, not the opposite way, right?
yeah. So anyway,
I
no,
think
this
that's
is
going to
great.
happen for a while. I think that's going to be the norm for a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of is what it is. But let me show you one other thing. I'm going to knock through some stuff super fast for you.
Okay.
Faxing, right? Inbound piece of cake. You get it in here. What's cool about it is you can actually fax out from here as well. So I can click this eFax tab and I can fax out from here as well. So if you want to send this, I'm going to send it to myself. That's my number. I'm going to do that. So your medical records or whoever's using this can do this, right? I'm going to send this. Here you go. Let's pretend I want to get this fax. I can either send eFax and delete it or send and then send to PCC. So I'm going to click that. It's actually going to fax that document out. And then I'm going to go in here, click this, upload it homepage. And now I have a document that's getting faxed as we speak and a document on its way to the chart. Because we integrate with our APIs, we don't charge you for any of that stuff. It's just something we put in here because it's a nice feature to have. So you're all in one place. And so it's a great way to do that. The other thing that's really nice is you can always look here and see your statuses of your faxes. Here's all mine that I'm sending. And it's great, but works really good for outbound and inbound if you're trying to do that really quickly.
And is this, so we have 8 different communities. Is it one login and then you get access and then you give permissions to the other communities, or does each community get their own kind of
You can
independent?
create, yeah, you're going to have different sites for each one, very similar to PCC. I'm going to go up here and change my buildings, and you can set it up. So let's say you both have access to all 8 buildings, but your users at the local buildings, they only have access to one. So it's very,
Okay.
very similar to PCC. You'll actually have this corporate button where others won't, where I can click that and I can see, hey, who's using it, who's not, where are they using it, and that kind of stuff. And then I can set up.
How far does that drill down? I'm looking at,
It'll go pretty
is that,
far in
my
here.
category on the right. Okay.
So it'll do categories. It will show you who's in it right now, what's been uploaded, the users, the logins. If they're having trouble, it tells you right here. Here's your IPs. It actually shows you every document scanned, just the history of the faxes, everything in there. So you can see all of that as well.
Okay.
It's really nice just from here, just to be like, okay, these guys aren't using it. I need to figure out what's going on. And that's a great way to do that as well.
Does the pie also have like a trending over 12 months so we can see if, like, when we change a CRC, that suddenly it goes boop and drops, and because maybe there's a training issue?
It doesn't, but that's a great idea. I will actually put that down. So I know this sounds funny and I always tell, but you're going to get this on this homepage here. See where it says feature request? I've been in software all my life. I never ever use those things because it's a black hole typically. This one is not. This one, you will get a reply that day, and 90% of the stuff that comes in there, we put in pretty fast. That's our goal, get it in there. But I'm actually going to take that note for you. I bet you they'll have that in there pretty fast because those are great. And our team, we love this. This is what we do, and so we're really excited to build those things. So that's a great idea.
I mean,
Like I already got my
that's a loose way of a little bit of BI, I guess, taking some data and, using it. But yeah, anyway, this is great. So, what's you had me at automatic, API to PCC. What's this cost per community, and what's the pricing for this?
Yeah, I can run you through the pricing, and I'll follow up with an email as well that kind of breaks it all out for you. But the pricing for this is, if you're 1 to 2 facilities, it's $149 a month. When you jump from 3 to 50 facilities, it's a tiered structure, so it goes down to $129 a month. That's unlimited users, unlimited scanners, and free training across the board.
And that's
Our contract. What's that?
Per community, the one, the amounts per community or the whole org?
Yes, per facility.
Okay, right.
Yeah, and then our contract is month to month. So, we don't tie you down at all there. We do offer a 10% discount if you do commit to 24 months there, but it's just a little way to kind of save some money there. But I'll follow up with all the details in an email, kind of break that all out for you. And yeah, that's it
Okay.
when it comes to pricing.
And then we have a pretty extensive technology questionnaire. You know, how are you handling our data? Questionnaire.
Yeah.
Good.
Are you pretty solid there?
So yeah, we're SOC 2 type 2.
Oh, you are
We
SOC 2.
will
Okay,
we'll
great.
answer all of those things, whatever. And I'm grateful that you're saying that because you learn a lot about companies when we're doing this, and I'm always trying to help them be as secure as possible. But some of them, it's not in their radar yet. So I'm glad you guys are doing that.
Well, did you go to the PCC conference by chance
Yes,
this?
sir. Yes.
Did you sit in on the AI cyber?
I sat in on a bunch of them. Which one was it?
It was they were just really they're talking about the way that PC's hardening their system and with the multi-factor
Yeah.
MFA and all that stuff.
Yeah, it was there.
They were showing the statistics of like
Sad.
just something simple like providing IP numbers of your organization within your walls, and like it was only like 4% of the companies are using that. I was just I don't sleep at night if I'm thinking, oh my gosh, those numbers on
Right?
there. I'm like, I don't know,
I
I don't
couldn't
know how to do
believe
that.
that. I didn't I was almost like, PCC, that seems neglectful to me on your part. Like that's a
Oh my,
lot of risk. I mean,
that's okay. Yes, that means you can get in. Yeah, that's yeah. Yep.
yeah,
I agree.
that was really scary for such a simple thing to do. But what's kind of nice is we've been in post acute forever. It's all we do. So when companies call and they don't have that stuff going, we do help them get that going. So hopefully we'll just with our customers alone, we'll bump that up a little bit. But yeah, it was eye opening to me. I thought they were kidding.
I did
That
too.
was
Like that can't be a real number. But and then the volume of attacks was pretty staggering to
yeah.
me as well.
I sat with well, I forget the guy's name, the first guy that spoke, I
Oh,
forget
the
his name.
PCC
Yeah.
VP of yep.
I sat with him at breakfast and he was telling me some of the kind of inside stuff. And I was like, oh my goodness, it's far worse than what he said. And now they're making some great stuff. They're doing some great deals, but man, they are just like some of the companies they deal with, it must be so hard because they're small mom and pop shops and they don't even turn anything on. So he said just getting to two form was a humongous deal for remote. I was like, that seems like a no brainer five
That
years
seems
ago.
like that's yeah, exactly. But it's gonna be, Teresa and I we after that we started talking about it. It's gonna be it's gonna be a change for we're gonna crack down on the amount of remote access, frankly.
Yeah.
And then with that, MFA, it's just gonna be, I mean, I think everybody's getting used to it now. I mean, it's just almost
Totally.
everything
Yeah.
you touch is has some sort of multi-factor. So
That's
um,
helped a lot, right? If you want to use your bank account, you have to do it. That helped a lot.
yep, yep.
It's fun
Yep.
talking shop with you. It was great to meet you.
Yeah, this is great. Yeah. Uh, I love this. So, yeah, if we can get some information over and see, obviously our budget season, this doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like it's a real huge hit on a budget. So we might have to see, it might be something where we trial it or not trial, but we just do it for one community initially and see like a kind of a heavy user, so they can give feedback and then, potentially put in our 2026 budget for our org. But this would be a big problem solver to the paperless effort.
Yeah,
So,
that's awesome.
Definitely.
yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I'll follow up with a quick email. It just kind of, like I said, breaks everything down for you guys, gets all the information in front of you. And if there's any questions or anything that pop up in the next few days or weeks, we'll be happy to answer those for you. And if we need to jump on another demo with anybody else on the team, we're happy to do that as well. But thank you for taking the time to
I
jump
have one
on.
more
We're
question. Sorry.
excited to meet you guys. No, go for it.
Yeah. Um, so is there any sort of single sign-on? So maybe even access through PCC or just do you have Active Directory, single sign-on? I mean, what's your ability to, because we just, the number of credentialing accounts is just, we try to shy away from that, but
We don't have it yet, but it will be this year. We're waiting. There's some integration that PCC is opening up for us for the SSO, for the third-party markets, but it's not there yet. But the moment they have it, we're ready to build it. So
Okay.
the team's ready. There is other ways for provisioning. So we also have a UAP, and so we're really big in the provisioning part. So if we're like, hey, we don't want to build accounts, we want to just pass information, and your system can build it. We can automate creating and disabling accounts as well. So we can talk about that, and that's just something we do for our bigger customers too.
Yeah, we definitely like that. The offboarding is always, well, both of them are challenging, but the offboarding side is generally like, oh, this user hasn't worked here for 5 years. Why do they still have an active account? It's like,
well, this will disable after a certain amount of days, very similar to PCC. It's going to disable them, let's see, 90 days. So if they don't use it, it's going to clip it. But typically, there's multiple ways for us to either pass us a file, or there's a couple ways we do it, and then we can also email out, hey, new user so and so, here's your new account. We created it. It'll automate all of that for you. So
awesome.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Sounds good. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, guys. And like I said, we'll be following up, and hopefully we can jump on with you soon and hopefully push this thing forward for you.
All right, sounds good.
Great
Awesome.
chatting with you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.